Learning vocal production and learning how to do it well will be the #1 skill for any singer-songwriter, any home recording artist who wants to release more music, have more control over their sound, and just to be happy with what they're recording. Great vocal production isn't just about fancy microphones, really good rooms, or even being a perfect pitch kind of singer. In fact, the pursuit of perfection can kill the soul of your music faster than anything else. And with the rise of these AI voices, ultra realistic virtual instruments, the one thing that will set you apart always is going to be an authentic and raw vocal performance. But here is the trap that most of us artists will fall into, is that we get excited about being able to take control of our music, to release more music, we can record from home, but then we start getting into the technical weeds. We either, one, spend way too much money on things that we do not need. Two, we get so obsessed over being technically right and doing it right that we start to go down the rabbit hole of music production and we forget about our artistry and we neglect that, and then we get split and nothing gets done. Or we over abuse the tools we have and then we just suck the life out of our performance and we're left with something that feels sterile and uninspired. So what this video is all about really is to show you the 10 plugins that I use consistently on my vocal performances that I absolutely love. I can't work without them. And I want to show them to you, one, because they work and do what they do really, really well, especially when it comes to vocals. And two, they're not really that hard to use. So you're not gonna have to spend a lot of time trying to figure them out. You can just kind of learn what they do, know what it fixes, use it, and move on with your song. The #1 plugin that I use for vocal production is Melodyne. Now, Melodyne is gonna be the most complex plugin on this list, but I cannot work without it. Melodyne is incredible for transparent tuning. So here's a quick tip when using Melodyne. If you want to maintain the authenticity of your voice without it sounding tuned, do not tune the scoops or any of the vocal inflections, the stuff that goes in between the notes. Leave that untuned. There's a lot of your character in the way that you go in and out of notes. Make sure you're just tuning the notes that you're trying to hit. And it also helps if you don't hard tune every single note you're trying to hit. Listen to the performance and use your ears for best judgment. Now, #2 plugin on this list that I love is VocAlign by SynchroArts. Now, VocAlign is just to align doubles, harmonies to your main track. I find that it does it very well, very often. It's very quick to use, so that's why I like using it. Another quick tip for using VocAlign is to use the dial for how tight it syncs to your main track. If you're looking to really add separation, make the vocals seem larger, make sure there's a little bit of timing that is a little bit off from the main vocal that you're timing to. Now, #3 vocal plugin that I absolutely love is the Universal Audio C-Vox. Now, this is by Cedar. You do need Universal Audio hardware to run it, but this is an amazing plugin. It removes room noise and other noise from your recording, and it does it in such a fast and transparent way. I'm actually using it right now for this vocal recording. It's a simple plugin. It's got like 2 knobs, and you just dial it to taste, and it makes a huge difference. Pro tip with using C-Vox, you want to make sure you aren't overdoing it. It'll actually start to pull out information from your actual vocals, and it can make it sound kind of warbly and weird. So just be careful. You can really overdo this one. #4 vocal for plugins is another Universal Audio one where you do need the hardware, and that's going to be the Ocean Way Studios. Now, again, if you're recording in a room like I record in, which is just not a room set up for recording vocals, being able to use the Ocean Way plugins to put myself in that space can make a very big difference in the performance, because you're going to start to add that beautiful air around your vocal performance instead of boxiness that can just come from recording in a room like this. What I love about the Ocean Way Studios plugin is that it has a remic mode, and in the remic mode, you can move the microphone's distance. And in this particular plugin, you can make the close mic as close to your mouth as you would have actually recorded into a microphone, and it just gives you this nice, beautiful air. Now, quick tip with the Ocean Way plugins studio is that you also want to be careful with this, because yes, you may add in a lot of room dimension, but if you're putting this on a vocal that might be in a dense mix, you may actually push the vocal back, and it's going to be hard to get that vocal to sit in front. So the #5 vocal plugin that I can't live without anymore is going to be Wexsound's Soothe 2. Now, this plugin is magic. Again, it's one that you got to be careful with because you can abuse it. But if you're looking just to get rid of resonances and to really smooth a vocal out, especially when you're recording in non-optimal environments, this plugin, you just throw it on, pretty much default setting for me, and just make make sure that you're not overdoing the effect because it'll start to take things out of the vocal and make it sound weaker. This is a little bit of this goes a long way. And speaking of smooth vocals, my number 6 here is going to be the Thermionic Vulture by Universal Audio. This plugin, again, when you just dial in just a little bit of saturation, can really just smooth out a vocal, give it a nice crispiness, analogness, warmth that you may need to add into your signal if you're recording into a very sterile audio interface. If you're recording into a microphone that might be a little bit on the budget side, tends to kind of be a little bit more clean. The Thermionic Vulture can really add in just this subtle harmonic enhancement that really is pleasing to the ear. Now, the Thermionic Vulture is a Universal Audio hardware plugin. So again, you would need the hardware. It's not the only saturator on the market that I would recommend. So I'm gonna throw in a little bonus, and that would be the Sound Toys Decapitator. Also a fantastic plugin that does a very similar thing. So number 7 plugin that I have been really enjoying lately, this is a newer one on the block, and that's gonna be Softube's Layers. Layers is a plugin to where you can create different harmonies, you can create doubles, you can do all kinds of crazy things to add dimension and depth to your vocal with just one vocal performance. I'll always be a proponent, if you want a double, record the double. If you want a harmony, record the harmony. But with Layers, it's fun because you can really experiment with the vocal, trying out different types of panning and different types of effects. If you have multiple vocals, this could be a good way just to add a little bit of dimension in the background. So it's been a lot of fun to play with. It doesn't find its way onto all of my tracks, but it's something that I've been really enjoying and it sounds great. Number 8 on this list is going to be FabFilter's de-esser. Now there's a lot of de-essers on the market, and a de-esser is just gonna help tame the in your voice, which can get really harsh to the ear. And I've just been using FabFilter de-esser. That's why I recommend it. It's super easy to use, just like all of FabFilter's products. It's very transparent, does exactly what it's supposed to do. I don't need to think about it. I just throw it on and I'm good to go. Number 9 plugin that is just a lifesaver is Izotope's RX, specifically the RX mouth declick. All the sounds that your voice has, especially if you're doing multiple takes and you haven't been drinking your water and you get a little bit of dry mouth, and in between takes you might hear some smacking or just anything like that, that once you get compression on your vocal and everything comes up, you can just hear it, especially if you're listening on headphones. And mouth declick is just so simple. Just put it on, run it, and it pretty much just does the job without you having to fiddle too much, and it's wonderful. All right, last one on my list, number 10. You can't have a vocal production list without mentioning Autotune, but I'm not gonna actually mention Autotune, the main plugin. I'm talking about Autotune's choir plugin. Autotune's choir plugin is something that I use when I want to create big gang vocals. So if, let's say I have my own vocal track, I have some backgrounds or maybe some doubles or some octave performances. Throwing that through choir can really create a sense of a lot of people singing behind you. So it's a great way to mimic a gang vocal performance. I've used it in a couple of my tracks and I love it. It's super simple to use. And when you need that effect, choir just delivers. That's my list of like my 10 vocal production plugins. Now you may think, well, you didn't mention anything about equalizers or compressors. What's the deal there? And the reason why I didn't talk about EQs or compressors is because those are two mix tools that you're just gonna use on everything. And there's so many of them. They all have different characters, different tones. Really just use what you have. But if you're asking me, here are a couple of compressors and EQs I would recommend. I like to use on my own stuff. Softube's VCA compressor, awesome compressor, really smooths out a vocal and it has saturation built in. The UAD LA2As and 1176s are classics for a reason. And on top of that, that UAD Fairchild. And then for EQs, can't talk about EQ without talking about FabFilter Pro Q4. That's an amazing all-around EQ. I love the UAD's Pultec emulations and the UAD Neve 31102 EQ. I find just adds a nice sizzle and just sheen to a vocal. So these plugins will definitely up your game when it comes to vocal production. Your listeners definitely will not believe the difference if they hear a track before you use these and then a track afterwards. And it's gonna make you more confident and you're gonna release more music for sure. But remember, these plugins are only as powerful as the emotion that you put into your performance. These tools are here to enhance that, not sterilize it. So again, it's like cooking, it's like salt and pepper. You can overdo all these very, very easily. So you're gonna have to use your ears and know why you're reaching for these tools. So just remember, your takes will establish the emotion while your edit will capture the listener. All right, well, I hope this video helped you at least narrow down what you should be looking for in terms of the tools that's gonna make the biggest difference in your home studio recordings. If you have any questions about any of these or want me to do a deeper dive on any one of them, please let me know know in the comments below, and then I'll take a look at it and see if I can produce something for you to go deeper into any one of these. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.